I'm gonna take these off. Sun did kind of go away a little bit. Um, so max effort, upper body. We're on week 4, I believe. Um, and today is my least favorite variation, and it is the overhead press. And it's not necessarily like my least favorite because I like overhead pressing. I think what I mean is just my least favorite because it's so fucking hard. Like overhead press, man, just even with like, less than 200 pounds on the bar, it's just such a tough movement, man. And it really does humble the shit out of you, that's for sure. And my overhead press used to be actually pretty good because I trained it all the time, believe it or not. Um, Back when I was like fresh out of the military. Um, I think this would have been 2016, I believe. And yeah, my overhead press was pretty good. I was overhead pressing 225 at the time. And it was kind of funny because my overhead press was really good and my bench, I guess bench actually wasn't that bad. I was already benching like 250 at the time. And I know that some of y'all are like, so what, who cares? I was also like 160 pounds at the time for comparison. I was like 160, 165, somewhere around there. And I was overhead pressing 225 and benching, I think like 250, 260. Um, so yeah. But anyway, it's not like that anymore. My overhead press is kind of dog water now. My previous max on this from last year was only 190. I attempted 195 twice and missed it both times. And usually it's like right at that 90-degree mark. You just can't quite generate enough force to overcome that 90 degrees. And yeah, but I think I don't know. I don't really train overhead that often, to be honest. So I don't really have expectations for my overhead press to go up because I don't really train overhead like ever. Uh, and that's one thing I was thinking about. Speaking of this, since I knew it was coming up, I was like, maybe this next conjugate block that I do, I swap out one of my horizontal supplementals for a vertical. I have done that in the past. Didn't really notice anything from it, but I only did 12 weeks of doing one vertical press a week. You know what I mean? It's not like I was training it twice. I was training it once. Mostly because I still just give more of a shit about bench press than I do my overhead press. Like I don't care about my overhead press. But it is one of those things I still keep in the program anyway, because being able to press shit over your head is still an important skill. And so I do still like to train it. So anyway, just some thoughts about the overhead press. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Same deal as always, man. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ascending ladder, and then directly after this, I believe we're doing a barbell supplemental. I think we're breaking out the axle bar for some close grip bench. But for now, we're gonna focus on the overhead. So go ahead and do empty bar for a nice easy 5. Hopefully I don't hit my garage door control. I might have to take the hat off. Sorry, I know I'm moving the microphone around. So I'm going to take the hat off and probably just strap this to my shirt, and then we'll keep it moving. All right. 135 for 3. And I did want to talk about one thing I think is pretty cool because I never see this done by anybody. And that is the idea of training the eccentric portion on an overhead press. Normally, people kind of treat the overhead press like a deadlift. You start from the bottom, concentric only, and then you just kind of drop the eccentric. No one really controls the eccentric. They just drop it to their shoulders, up again, right? And so one thing that I experimented with a while ago was actually setting up kind of like in a split jerk. So like split stance, the bar would actually be like forehead height or actually above the head. And so you would get your arms pretty straight, maybe like a soft bend, and stand up like split jerk, right? So you're here, you get underneath the bar, you stand up, walk it out, and then from here you eccentrically load and then press, kind of like a squat, right? You walk it out and then eccentrically load and then squat it back up. And I actually kind of really like that variation. It's just a huge pain in the ass to set up. Because you got to get the J cups like all the way up at the top of the rack. If you don't have a full-size rack, or if you're really tall, that ain't fucking happening. But it is a cool way to mix up the overhead press, because that first rep, you get that eccentric loading, and then being able to press from there, as opposed to having to dead stop the first rep and then eccentrically load. Is it a huge deal in terms of training? No, but I just never seen anyone do that, and I think that's a cool variation if you've never tried it before, especially if you're doing things like 1RMs on an overhead press and you normally always do dead stop 1RMs. Barbell at high height, you like split jerk it out of the rack, whatever, and then, yeah. Cool variation, that's all. All right, we got 165 on the bar. I was originally going to do this for 2, and I still might. But I also kind of forgot that my max is 190. So I will probably only do 1, because I don't want to fatigue myself too soon. But it also depends on how it feels. If it feels super easy, I'll go for a second one. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to do the 1. We're just going to try and make it really good. And then I'll jump to 185 and then go for 195 again. No belt yet, because I don't know if I need it, to be honest with you. Everything feels kind of fine. Yeah, wasn't as light as I wanted it to, but it did go up. So, all right, 185. Hopefully this doesn't feel too bad. Belt is on too. Way heavier than expecting. Fuck. All right, 195. We're going for it. 185 didn't feel too good, but I don't fucking care. We're going to try anyway. It is what it is. Yeah, I just can't get it past that point. I get right off my shoulders and stall right here. Let me try again. Can I push press it? No. All right. Moving into our first accessory. It's a axle bar bench. Oh, close grip. Oh. So it's just typically when I do close grip, it's just closer than what I normally do. So like if my standard grip width is here, I normally just go index to thumb, wherever that was, and that's my new pressing position. I don't really try to overthink it more than that. It's just closer. You'll see some people when they do close grip variations, it's like thumb to thumb or some shit like that. I think some of that's fucking stupid. You don't have to go that close to bias triceps. Just literally closer than your normal grip width will add significant elbow bend. Anyway, with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into it. This is an 8RM. Previous record, 212. So, and remember, this bar is lighter than usual, right? It's only 22 pounds compared to 45. Oh. Looks like a storm is rolling in. Looks like a hurricane. I actually really like this weather, believe it or not. One of the things is my wife and I used to travel to Washington State, and we actually really like places like Seattle, even though I know like some people hate like the doom and gloom and how it's rainy all the time and stuff like that. Her and I actually really like that environment. Actually, something about it that's like, I don't know, I guess what some people would call like mystical. Not necessarily cozy, but like there's like a, I don't know. It's a weird feeling, but it's not depressing. It's serene in a sense. And I know some of you that hate that kind of weather are probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I'm serious. I actually do like when it's rainy and kind of like cloudy. I do like that scenery a lot, which is why I actually really enjoy Florida, because when the hurricanes do roll through here, I mean, it's a sight to behold, that's for sure. So. That's 202, by the way. So we're almost there. All right, last one. This is a 217, so 5 over the previous. Oh. This is gonna suck. Oh. Nice. All right, now we got your favorite inverted rows. We've got 90 pounds on the stack right now. We're going to build up to 115, I believe, for 10. And then we're going to do a drop set where we're going to bring the bench up, feet elevated, and then we're going to go for broke. Because I'm pretty sure last time I did this, I don't think I did body weight at the angle. I think I did actual inverted rows, but I can't remember. So that's how we're going to do it this time. I think it'll be fine. Yeah. I don't see why not. And if it doesn't feel right, well, you know, it is what it is. Oh, fuck. All right. Hopefully that's the appropriate length. Kind of looks like it is. Like I said, 90 pounds on the stack. We're going to do 10 reps and then go to 115 for our PR. Not bad. All right, 115 on the stack. Here we go. All right, now remember, we're doing our drop. We take this off. I'm going to bring this up just a little bit. This bench, so I can reach it. That should be close enough, I think. These might be a little high, but I'm not too concerned about that. I remember when we do drops, looking for at least half your reps. So I needed 5. I got like 9.5. It's not bad, I guess. Okay. We're going to move into pull downs. We're going to get vertical. And it's a descending ladder. I think it's like 16, 12, 8, I think, or something like that. I'll double check. Okay. Supinated grip. Lat pull down. I got my angles 90s up here. If you haven't seen me use these before, I kind of go back and forth with my setups, just depending on how I want to execute something. So there's been times where I do supinated grip with the straight lat pull down bar because it forces a little more internal rotation, which is cool. Obviously, with moving handles, you're not being forced into any one position, so it gives you a little bit more freedom to move stuff around. And also, I normally never need straps with these handles either because they are very ergonomic. So with that being said, 115 on the stack. We're gonna go for 16 fucking reps. Good luck. I'm gonna stay supinated the whole time, or maybe neutral here. I'm gonna supinate it at the bottom. Going up again, dropping reps to 12. All right, 135 on the stack for 12. Same deal. Nice. All right, last one. 155 on the stack. I'm going for 8. And then we have a nice little surprise at the end. We're doing a lengthened hold. So we keep tension on the lats, we throw out the shoulder girdle, and we just hold on for dear life. Which is even better because we don't have straps. So we are raw dogging the shit. Oh yeah, that's heavy, dude. Oh, fuck. One more. Lengthen the hold. Keeping tension on the lats. We're chilling. Oh, oh God. Ooh. Fuck. This is a good hold though. God damn. All right. This is the fun part. This is a good old-fashioned metabolic stress. And if you guys aren't familiar with just met stress tactics in general, it's nothing really fancy, to be honest with you. It's just a high volume, very low load. And it's just about pumping the shit out of a target muscle. And as probably most of y'all know by now, getting close to failure is what provides muscular gains. And while that may be true here, or is true here, I'm not really doing this for muscle growth. First of all, a pump just feels good, first of all. But two, I've talked about this before when it comes to just like movement rehabilitation. And so some stuff, you don't really do it with the purpose of getting bigger or getting stronger necessarily. It's literally like getting steps in. So just like how I feel like most people, most logical and reasonable people, would suggest getting your steps in daily, you can do that with traditional exercise. So we're about to do some pull-aparts, which are basically steps for our shoulder girdle. And we're just getting our steps in that way. And you can do this with realistically anything. Leg curls, hip thrusts, pull-aparts, face pulls are some of my favorites, especially since they target the posterior chain, which gets neglected in most people's training programs. And it's an easy way to get your steps in, to make stuff feel better. So, you know, when you think about a lot of the chronic pain that we deal with on a daily basis, it's achy shoulders, achy low backs, achy hips, knees, ankles in some cases. And so the more movement that you can get done for those joints, the better they typically feel. Because most pain, and maybe I'm overstating that, but it's my opinion, most pain is due to a lack of movement. You know, so when you hear, you know, people talk about how much their low back hurts, a lot of trainers still to this day will say, oh, you got weak hip flexors or weak erectors or weak abs or weak hamstrings, whatever. Not really. In those cases, not really. Most of the time, it's going to be just a lack of movement. And so as soon as you start focusing on movement, the pain starts to go away. So as you'll see here, we're about to get a lot of steps in. We're about to do 200 reps here with the pull-aparts. So we're going to do 100 in each direction. And we're just going to kind of pump through them as much as we can in one go. And I'm not purposefully going to go to failure right away. I'm probably going to hit failure once we cross that 100 rep boundary and we're in the last 100 is when I'll start hitting failure more continuously. But the first few sets, I'm going to stop early on purpose, just so I have plenty of opportunity to go longer per set. I don't want to end up doing 10 reps at a time and having to rest for like fucking, you know, just minutes on end just to get this set done. So by stopping a little early, we'll be able to get it done way faster. All right, so this is 1, and then we're going to turn around to the other side, 2, and we're going to 200. I mean, that's 12 down already. We're cruising. That's 50 right there. So I'm going to grab some water, loosen it up a little bit. We'll get back into it. Where we at? 50? And I'm about a foot apart, too, for reference. Stopping a little early with 70 reps, so we're at 120. So first set, I stopped pretty far out, like almost as soon as I started to feel like we're getting pretty close to pain territory. Stopped. Second one, I pushed it just a little bit further. Now I have 80 reps left. I might be able to do 40 or 50 before I'm like, ugh. But I do like to push the failure around this time. I normally get pretty close. So if I have 80 reps left, I normally tap out around 40 or 50. And then it's like 15 reps, and then like the last 10 or whatever. So, because once you hit failure the first time, fuck, it hits you almost immediately. Like as soon as you start the next set, you're like 4 reps deep and you're like, what the fuck? All right, so we're at 120, yeah? Oh. Oh. There's the 42. Oh. 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 50. Oh. That's 170. I got 30 reps left. Oh, that's better than usual. Usually I don't make it that far. Oh. 30 reps to go. I'm right there. Go on. Oh, fuck. All right. That is it for me. It's a pretty quick one today, actually. Not too bad. Um, Everything kind of went according to plan. PRs across the board except for the max effort variation, which, it's overhead press. Who gives a shit? And I do kind of go back and forth on my overhead, like whether I want to train it or not. I can never really make up my mind just because, like, I really just don't care about overhead. In fact, I'm actually kind of surprised I even keep overhead in the plan to begin with as a max effort variation, but it's just exactly that. It's just a variation because there's only so many bench variations you can do before they just really start kind of blurring the line of similarities. There's just, and you'll see some of the variations I come up with, but really at the end of the day, there's only so much difference that you can create, and overhead is pretty dramatically different. So it's nice to just kind of throw in there as a wild card. But one of the things I was considering, because I think I did it last year. I think I did it last year, and it was whatever. I did what I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, where it was like, so I obviously have 2 upper body days. One of the days, the primary supplemental would be a horizontal press again, but then the second upper body day would be a vertical press. And it was all right. It wasn't anything crazy. I think you'd obviously see way better benefits if you trained vertical twice. But I don't care about the overhead press. So that's why I bench instead. And it's just one of those things that's kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like a flirtatious thing, you know what I mean? Like you flirt with the overhead press for a little bit, numbers go up, cool, you get the little dopamine effect from that, but then you like never train it again. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things I just don't really care about all too much. But maybe Sorry about that. Maybe that will change with the upcoming block. We'll see. But anyway, everything else is going well. It's fucking hot. I'll tell you that right now. We are sweating a lot, so I got to make sure my hydration is staying on par with everything. Because I mean, these summers get brutal, and I'm in the garage, and it's just, oh, dude, it's a mess. But anyway, I don't have anything else to report on. I feel great, excited to keep it moving. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.